Good morning and welcome to Rhode Island's presentation of fantasies, Heroes. Heroes come in many shapes and sizes and colors. They are young, they are middle-aged, and they are old. They are men and women and sometimes children. Sometimes heroes even come with 4 paws and a wet nose. They may be a well-known celebrity or an average citizen thrust into the spotlight by their selfless act of courage. Many of our heroes are anonymous, or we know them collectively by their occupation, such as policemen or firemen. So, your hero could be your best friend, or your neighbor, or a stranger who fixes your flat tire on a cold, rainy night. In short, anyone can be a hero. Our program takes a look at the everyday heroes that are found in the Daily Planet. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we turn the pages of our favorite daily newspaper.
This is a job for Superman.
Take a look at the weather forecast. You'd never believe it, but today's weather is going to be pretty cold. The scene is November 2004. A man arrives at the gates of heaven.
Wow, I'm glad I'm here, but I wonder, what does hell look like?
I'll tell you what, I'll show you before you get down there. Down this elevator.
On this elevator, take it right to the bottom. When the doors open, you'll see hell, but don't get out of the elevator.
An hour later, the door opens to a frozen wasteland. Peering through the blizzard, the man sees a huge mountain of ice. Shivering, he pushes the button for heaven.
I thought hell was all fire and brimstone, but all I saw was snow and ice.
Snow and ice? Well, I guess the Boston Red Sox finally won the World Series.
Entertainment page. I see here that we'll be treated to a selection by one of our local heroes, Evie Mann, who will play The Wind Beneath My Wings. to the school news, teachers are heroes to many children. But you'd never convince our next young lady. The scene is a school classroom.
Well, good morning, boys and girls. If you folks remember, yesterday I told you that the principal asked me to have you each bring your birth certificate into school today for the field trip. So before we start the day, why don't you bring me your... Oh, all right, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Francis. And you, okay, thank you. Oh, Mary.
Teacher, I forgot mine.
Oh, Mary, I've got to have it. You'll have to go home and get it.
Mary, what is the matter?
I have to go home.
Are you sick?
No, I forgot my excuse for being born.
And now join our young schoolboy as he works on his assignment to write a report about his hero.
For school, I have to do a report on one of the great seafaring men in history. Doing a history report is turning out to be harder than I thought. None of these books on ships that I checked out of the library mentions anything about my hero. I decided to write to the Secretary of Navy. Perhaps the Navy can provide me with the information I seek about my hero's days at sea. My history report is due tomorrow.
The scene shifts to the classroom, where our boy is giving a report about his hero.
My hero is one of the most famous men associated with the great age of sail. Not unlike another great seafarer with a background in the food industry, Captain Cook. Captain Cook visited the Hawaiian Islands and named them the Sandwich Islands. Rumor has it, his specialty was roast pig on a bun.
The scene shifts again. Our boy is walking home after school.
Everyone in class laughed at me when I gave my maritime report on Captain Crunch.
Our comic strips characters have their own individuals that they look up to. Let's look in on Dennis the Menace.
You had just better behave yourself, Dennis Mitchell.
Hey, Ma, Margaret's trying to take your job.
And now, our favorite husband and wife in the comics, Dagwood and Blondie. He sneaks in while she is cooking dinner to surprise him, but he gets the surprise.
Brad Pitt. Johnny Depp. George Clooney. Jude Law. Russell Crowe. Oh, for heaven's sake, honey, I would have gotten it right sooner or later.
People all around the world look to sports for their heroes. However, for a different point of view, listen to this lady's account of her first baseball game.
My brother asked Ralph how he'd like to take me to a game, the baseball game between the White Sox and the Yankees on my birthday. I had never been to a baseball game before, so I was really excited. And they said the seats were grandstand seats, so I figured I'd better wear my best studs. So I got my wedding gown out of my blue tissue paper that I put it in so I wouldn't fade, and I wore my picture hat and my white gloves, and I even wore my white silk stockings and my white shoes too. And I even bought corsage with the $2 that my aunt sent me for Christmas. I looked really neat, if I did say so myself. We got an early start because Ralph was afraid of all the traffic. And so we were there in plenty of time. But it didn't make any difference to me because I wanted to see what the other women were wearing. Well, let me tell you, none of them were dressed as nice as I was. In fact, some of them even wore them pantsuits. The fella down in front of us, he nudged the guy next to him and said, "Hey, get a load of that dame in the fancy outfit. Ain't she some swell?" Well, I'm glad someone noticed. Ralph never said nothing. Now, don't let the word grandstand fool you. It's just a bunch of wooden planks nailed together. And it's going to take me a month to get them splinters out. I asked Ralph when the ball game was going to start. And he said, well, when the umpire said so. Well, and when he finally got in the mood, he said, play ball. And the game began. The first thing they said they were going to do was he hit a fly. Well, if he did, that fly flew no more because he got whopped with a great big stick. And Leslie Adams, he came late to the game. And when he got there, everybody was hollering. And he asked Ralph, he yelled up to Ralph and said, are they all loaded? Well, I don't know about them all being loaded, but I can tell you about a couple of them that were. One of them had his hat on backwards, and one of those pads that you use when you move in a refrigerator, he had that on his stomach. And he kept brushing off a white plate that was on the ground in front of him. I'm sure he was loaded. And one other guy was so ugly, they made him wear a muzzle. After Leslie was there for a while, he moaned to Ralph, that picture stinks. Now, how could they tell from way up here? And after a while, Ralph got hungry, and he decided he'd go out and get something to eat. It seems to me he's always hungry. After he was gone for a while, the guy next to me groaned, there goes another fowl. Well, I stood up, and I looked all around. I couldn't see any chickens anyplace. And then they said someone was going to steal a base. And you know that policeman, he just stood there and he didn't even lend a hand to stop him. Well, Ralph had been gone for so long that I was really getting worried. I thought maybe he got mugged or something. After all, he had a whole $2 with him. But I looked around, and sooner or later, there I saw him. He was standing at the top of the grandstand with a bottle of soda in one hand and a hot dog in the other hand. And about the same time that I saw him, all of a sudden he started to yell, come home, come home. Well, if he wanted to go home, why didn't he just come down and tell me? He didn't have to yell like that. So I said, well, I'll just stop my way up and I'll straighten out with him when I get home. But just as I was starting up, he changed his mind. He yelled, go back, go back. So he couldn't make up his mind. I turned around and I started back. And then the next thing you know, he says, slide, you fool, slide. So I did, all the way down the grandstand. And by the time I got to the bottom, everybody stood up and yelled, yay, the White Sox got a run. Well, I looked, and I sure did. And I was so mad I put my hands on my hips, and I hollered, well, you would have gotten a run too if you slid the whole length of the grandstand like I did. So we decided to go home, but I got the last laugh because just as we got to the fence, the old ball came sailing over, and I grabbed it and I put it in my purse. They ain't playing ball no more tonight. Because the stores are all closed and they can't get a new ball until tomorrow.
intersection. We have coverage of a new event in our state, the Rhode Island Pageant of Heroes. To be a contestant, you not only must have beauty, brains, and talent, but you must have performed a heroic deed in the past 12 months. I would now like to introduce our contestants, who by coincidence are all Grange members. Our first contestant is Regina Rascal of Richmond Grange. Are bird watching and man watching, not necessarily in that order. The Grange that Regina belongs to is famous for their dinners served with Johnny cakes. Her act of heroism occurred at one of these dinners when she performed the Heimlich maneuver. Who was choking on a Johnny cake. It must have been love at first bite, because she and the victim will be married next month. Our next contestant is Miss Nancy Nugent of Nanaquahog Grange. Nancy is our oldest contestant at the lifelong age of 25. And her measurements are 28, 48, 28, temporarily. Her favorite pastimes are knitting and nitpicking. Nancy showed heroism last winter when she bravely trudged out in a 4-inch snowfall last winter to buy bread and milk for the entire neighborhood. This is Nancy's second act of heroism. In 2001, she helped Providence Mayor Buddy Cianci shortly before he departed on his federally funded extended vacation. When a sudden gust of wind blew off his toupee into the street, she saved him from embarrassment by snatching the hairpiece from the path of an oncoming RIPTA bus. Our third contestant is from Askaway Grange and is 7 years old. She is our youngest contestant. Annie is a straight-A student and plays the clarinet in her second grade class band. Her measurements are, well, she has no measurements yet. Annie's heroic deed took place on a cold, dark, rainy night last March when she helped an 87-year-old woman cross a busy intersection. Oh, I'm sorry, but this deed may have to be disqualified. I've just been told that this woman did not want to cross the street after all. She was merely attempting to purchase a newspaper at the corner stand. Our last contestant is Stevie Sticks from Sandy Lane Grange. Her age is listed as over 12 and under 100. Yes, she likes to keep them guessing. She is our only full-figured contestant with measurements of 42, 48, 40. Stevie's favorite pastime is mooning sunbathers at Moonstone Beach. Coincidentally, her act of heroism took place at Moonstone Beach last week. A purse snatcher was running down the beach, pursued by several young men. To distract the thief and allow the pursuers to catch him, Stevie bravely put herself in danger. She stepped in front of the thief and ruined him. He was so horrified at the sight that he stopped dead in his tracks. He immediately confessed to the crime and begged to be taken away.
It was a unanimous decision, and the winner is number 2.
Now here's a look at heroes through the eyes of a child. Cindy tells us about the heroes in her life.
When we went back to school after the Christmas holidays, my teacher asked how we spent the holidays. So I explained it to her like this. We always spend Christmas with Grandpa and Grandma. They used to live up here in a big brick house, but Grandpa got retarded and they moved to Florida. They live in a place with a lot of other retarded people. They live in tin huts, and they drive big three-wheeled tricycles. They go to a building they call a rec hall. But if it's a rec hall, it's fixed now. They play games there, and they do exercises, but they don't do them very well. And there's a swimming pool. And they just go sit in there and stand there in the water with their hats on. I guess they don't know how to swim. My grandma used to bake cookies and stuff, but I guess she forgot how. Now, all they do is go to fast food restaurants. As you come into the park, there's a big dollhouse with a man sitting in it. He sits there all day long, so they can't see them leave. They wear badges with their names on it, but I guess they don't know who they are. My grandma says Grandpa worked hard all his life and earned his retardment. I guess I wish they would move back home, but the man in the dollhouse won't let them.
Rising is an unlikely place to find heroes. We're not promising anything, but here's a word from our sponsors. Because a woman had a habit of losing her cordless phone, her son bought her a phone with a clip on it so she could attach it directly to her pants. A few days later, the following scene took place.
I don't know what to do in here. I don't know if this phone was ringing over here and I'm having all kind of problems.
What's going on?
Well, this stupid phone was ringing and I couldn't figure out how to undo the clip from the trousers.
It looks like there's trouble with Jordan Marsh.
Hey, Leo, haven't seen you in a long time. Where'd you get that hat? I really like it.
What, this hat? Hey, I got that from Jordan Marsh.
Gee, that's neat. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Hi, Walter. Nice to see you. Fancy pants you got there. Where'd you get them?
Oh, his name's Jordan Marsh.
I'm in a hurry, Jack. I'll see you later.
Well, for God's sake, if it isn't Ray. Where'd you get the beautiful shirt, Ray?
I got it.
I got it from Jordan Marsh.
Hey, kid, what's the big hurry?
Who, me?
What's your name?
Me? My name is Jordan Marsh. I'm looking for 3 guys who stole my clothes.
You've heard that a way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I guess that means anyone who can cook a meal is a man's hero. Our next story is about what happens when the cook gets carried away with the ingredients.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're in luck. Today you're going to learn how to make the best rum cake ever. Now you're going to need some brown sugar, lemon juice, butter, baking soda, baking powder, nuts, 2 eggs, and some raisins. Now for this you select a large bowl, mixing bowl, and you need a measuring cup and measuring spoons. Now before you start, you have to sample the rum. Not too much. What is it? Now go ahead. You've got your large mixing bowl. But first, check the rum again. It must be just right. coat. Now, to make sure it's of the highest quality, you pour 1 level cup into a glass and drink it as fast as possible. Repeat. Now with an electric mixer, well, I don't advertise an electric mixer. I use an egg beater. It's safer. You add 1 teaspoon of sugar. And you beat. I can't do it with my hand. Meanwhile, sample the rum again. You have to make sure it's of the highest quality. So you try another cup. Open a second quart if necessary. Now you add 2 large eggs. Oh, I don't think that egg was too fresh. That was over. And you add the fruits. Now you beat the fruits to high. Now if the fruits get stuck in the beaters, just pry loose with a fruit scraper. Then you sample the rum again. Didn't take another while. You have to check for consistency. Next, you sift 3 cups of lemon juice. It really doesn't matter. Sample the rum again. You add a tablespoon of brown sugar, fold in the chopped nuts, or whatever you can find, with smell. Grease the oven, turn cake pan on to 350 degrees. Now pour the whole mess in the oven and bake. Sample the rum again. And boil again.
I have to remember that this was Martha Stewart's favorite recipe during her stay in prison. on patrol with one of our heroes in blue. A police officer pulls over a motorist.
Sir.
You certainly are an attractive trooper.
Well, sir, I need you to breathe inside this breathalyzer for me.
I'm sorry, officer, I can't do that
Why not?
because I'm asthmatic and I may have an asthma attack.
Well, fine then. I'm going to have you come down to the station with me so we can do a blood test, just to be sure.
I'm sorry, officer, I can't do that.
Why not?
I'm hemophiliac. And if I do that, I'll bleed to death.
Okay then. Then you're going to have to come down. We're going to have to take a urine sample, just to be sure again.
I'm sorry, officer, I can't do that either.
And why not?
My blood sugar will drop way down.
That sounds like a good one. Then I'm going to need you to get out of your car and walk this line for me. Come on.
I'm sorry, officer, I can't do that either.
Why not?
'Cause I'm drunk.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our program. I have a few thoughts to leave you with. Ordinary heroes walk among us. With uncommon bravery and profound care, they appear in our lives without warning or fanfare. Some wear uniforms and carry badges, some do not. But all wear the armor of integrity, compassion, courage, and honor. Heroes put the needs of others before their own. Our greatest heroes can be anywhere and everywhere we are. Their names and deeds are seldom spoken of, rarely heard. They know that great things come from a series of small actions. They know how to fight with dreams and visions, and to protect and defend so that others may live. The world may know little of its greatest heroes, but in our hearts we know who they are. These heroes are messengers from heaven. Their love and compassion and bravery are God's touch upon humanity. Paul and Jeanette?
This is my first year, and I want to thank everyone that came out. I could not have done it without your support. And program books, I'll have two exits. One over here, Shirley Gerton will be selling those, and on the inside, if you happen to go to the bathroom, we'll catch you over there. No, outside of the restroom. So it's either door you go out, if you would like a book, please do so. They will also be sold at Davis Hall. And again, thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you.